Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the First Class, Second Place podcast. I'm your host, Jason Enrique, and we got another first-class guest up in the building today. But before we continue, let me remind everybody that we are live on YouTube right now at Jason Enrique. So go ahead and follow, like, and subscribe. Helps out the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We really help it. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Also want to give a shout out to Rick H of the 2 a.m. crew. We have just won Best Podcast Dominican. So now I'm actually a podcast award winner. Who'd figure? I'm not Dominican, but hey, I'll take it either way. Thank you so much to Rick H and everybody involved with the 2 a.m. crew. It's a huge honor. Thank you for letting me be a part of it. Shout out to Andromeda Club. Shout out to Jersey Media. Shout out to Bravery Studios. And shout out to you for watching and liking and subscribing and supporting. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We have another first-class guest. It's amazing that within the span of almost 200 episodes, we're at episode 196, I believe, and the people that still come on the show still come up to be first tier, first class. It never stops, and I think it's a testament to the people that continue watching the show and want to be a part of the show. And this lady right here is no exception. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Jae Camillo is in the building. What is going on, Jae?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for crossing the bridge for little old me and my little old podcast.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Yeah,
very excited.
The pleasure is all mine. And also I want to give a shout out to a mutual friend, Karina, for setting this up. So, big shout out to you, Karina. So let's start off from the beginning. Are you a native New Yorker?
I am born and raised in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
My parents are Dominican. And I live in Long Island.
Oh, wow.
Or like the forgotten part of New York, apparently. But yep, I'm a Long Islander. But like I said, born and raised in Brooklyn.
Between my co-host on the 2 a.m. crew, Rick H., and also another friend of mine, Eddie Castro, who both happen to be Dominican and also live on Long Island now, is Washington Heights becoming like seeping over to Long Island now? Like, what's going on there? It seems like...
Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot of New Yorkers moving on to Long Island. It's more quiet, I guess. So a lot of New Yorkers feel like it's still close to the city. I feel like it's close to the city all the time. I know, like, back in the day, people used to say, oh, my God, Long Island, like, that's far. Until I moved there, I was like, it's not even that far. So I think, yeah.
I don't think it's, as a day job, I do travel. Like, I do a lot of on the road work.
Okay.
And I have been to Long Island plenty of times in my career. I've been to Riverhead more than I like to admit. Okay. So I've gone as far as there. And I don't think it's so much of it's a far drive. I think it's just the amount of people. Like, the LIE is just a parking lot every single time. It doesn't matter if it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night. It's just overnight even. It's just a parking lot, and it's crazy.
At this point, yes. There's always traffic. I used to say, well, at this time there's not that much traffic, and this time, and that just after COVID, it completely went out the window. There's traffic at every single time of the day. Every single day. Doesn't matter if it's a weekend, whatever time. Like you said, day, night. It's traffic. So I agree, 100%.
Now, going back to Brooklyn, though, back in your childhood, did you know very early on that you wanted to be an entertainer, or was this something that you just kind of fell into eventually?
No. I started when I was let's go back. So when I was about 3-4 years old, I used to stand in front of the TV behind the TV actually. And I used to ask my mom, do you see me? And that was like a joke. My brothers and my sister, everyone would have on me like, you're an idiot. No, we can't see you, And I remember my mom told me, do you want to be inside the TV? I said, yes, that's why I'm behind the TV. I want to know if you can see me. And she said, well, you got to go to school for that. And I was like, okay, sign me up. Mind you, I'm only 3-4 years old around that time.
Yeah.
So at 5 years old, that's exactly what my parents did. They signed me up for dance. They signed me up for acting classes, modeling classes. So I kind of went through the whole educational part of the entertainment world. And I started then pursuing it at a very young age. So about 9 years old, I believe, I got my first role in a movie.
Oh, nice.
And from there on, I was able, thank God that I was able to do a lot of other sitcoms and movies and stuff like that. So I was more of a child actor. That's how I started my career. I did do, like I said, a lot of the dancing as a background and modeling. Graduated from Barbizon. Did a lot of modeling for Union Bay, Calvin Klein, like in my earlier, like when I first started. And then I got an interest into singing. So at home, my dad always had like this little band sessions on Sunday with his boys and his friends.
Interesting.
But it was very bachata. It was very bachata, very tropical. And at that time, I always had that interest, but there was really no females in this genre for me to even like say that that's what I wanted to do. So I kind of like would go in, peek in, play around, sing a couple of things, get out, and then I started doing my own thing. Like I started doing R&B and hip hop and stuff like that. And then one day I was like, you know what? Who cares if there's not a lot of females in this genre? I'm gonna just do it. And then I just started singing bachata, and that's how I'm here today.
So going back, back when you were a little girl, like before you even thought about being behind the TV, or were you in the living room or in your bedroom? Just you were always just singing and dancing, just always performative.
All the time.
And do you come from a performative family? Like, are they musically or creatively inclined, or are you the outlier?
Well, my
Except
dad.
for your dad.
Yeah, well, my dad definitely is. I do have a couple of cousins in the Dominican Republic that actually have their own bands and they actually play. They, there are musicians, bachateros as well. So I do have a couple of cousins from my dad's side of the family that pursue music as well. All males, no females though.
Right. Was that ever discouraging to you at all, knowing that you were pretty much the only girl around this doing this?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, definitely, yes, because I think them themselves as artists, as bachateros, didn't really embrace me that much into that genre because it was not really something common, So yeah, it was very discouraging at times, but I've always been that person that's like that fearful child, throwing herself from like somewhere your mom tells you, get down from there, que te vas a caer y te vas a... That's just who I always was. So that always helped me kind of keep me motivated and keep me positive on, no, it doesn't matter, don't get discouraged, keep going, keep going.
Was your father very supportive of your dreams, or was he somewhat hesitant because him being a creative as well, he kind of knew what this world was like already?
No, he's very, very much supportive. He still is. My parents are very, very supportive of my career. He was definitely from the beginning. I think that in the beginning, like I said, I started off doing R&B and hip hop and more of that world. And when I decided that I wanted to go the Latin, route, and I wanted to do more tropical music, and bachata was what I wanted to do. And I explained this is what I wanted to do from the beginning. It's just, you guys never really helped me out because we didn't, I didn't have an avenue basically when it came to this world. Like I said, I'm coming from an acting world also, so I am more around the English entertainment. So it's a lot easier for me to get production done, to work with producers, get management, get labels involved. Opposed to the Latin industry where it's more based around, if you're a female, more of a reggaeton type of vibe or a pop kind of vibe, and it wasn't kind of the genre that I wanted to pursue. So that was a little tricky, but my dad always supported, still supports me obviously, and my mom as well.
Yeah. So I want to assume that you and I are around the same age range. I won't ask you your age. I'm just going to naturally assume we're around in the same range. But what I mean by that is the music industry then is different how it is now. So going back to when you were trying to make a name for yourself, did you find it harder and more difficult as opposed to now it seems much easier and more accessible to people that are trying to get into the business?
I don't think that it's easier. Or that it was harder before. I think that we have more tools now. I think that now it's we have more things accessible to us to help us create, to get to our goals probably maybe a little faster because people can go viral. because there's that, and there wasn't that earlier in my career.
Right.
So definitely the whole having different platforms, different avenues that you can go definitely helps. It kind of outweighs just having one avenue, and it was you either go perform live and you go to a showcase so that someone can see you and you can get signed. There was no let's upload on YouTube or upload anywhere else or anything like that. Now that's what's different. I don't think that it's easier, if anything.
Right. You mentioned before that you've dipped your hand into different genres of music. You've done R&B, you've done hip hop, you've done this and that. What is it about bachata in particular that makes this the main focus of your musical career?
Well, for one starter, it was always there. Like I say, it was definitely always there. It is what I grew up listening to in my household. So a lot of the more traditional bachatas were what was played in my house. And that was always something that I felt something when I heard that music. Doing the R&B and doing the hip hop, it was just culturally what I was around. I'm, like I said, born and raised in Brooklyn.
Right.
This is what I'm listening to now in school and with my friends. They're not playing Anthony Santos or Raulín, But as soon as I walk through the doors at home, that's what was being played there. So it was there, and then
mentioning those names, it shows that you are a real student of the game.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes, I definitely am. After basically a couple of years down the road, you start hearing the new school, what we called the new school at the time, which is the Aventura, which is, Romeo Santos, which is Prince Royce, which all these groups, also a lot of other groups, 24 Horas, Nueva Era. They were pretty much now getting more into mainstream. So when I started listening to them, from my older brothers would come home and they would be playing this type of music, it was like a dream come true to me, because then I kind of felt more like it identified me more, because I had the R&B and the hip hop in my roots, and then now I have also the bachata, and Aventura, for example, kind of combined these two worlds and made it kind of like a New York bachata, that definitely like captivated me and, made me want to do that more. Once again, I was held back because there was no females really involved in the game. So there wasn't like someone that I can say, I can be like a Mariah, or I can be like a Whitney, there was no one that I can really, relate to. There were some females in the game that were not internationally known, that I knew them because they would come out they had these CDs where they would do compilations, and they would have the Raulín and the Anthony Santos, and then they would randomly have like a female artist on there. And then it'll be like, oh wait, who's this person? They didn't really have much music out, so it wasn't something either for me to say, oh, this. And also, I'm coming from New York, Brooklyn, so it wasn't the type of bachata that I wanted to do. So that was a little tricky. As far as the bachata. But I always knew that bachata was definitely what I wanted to do. The fact that I did other genres and I dabbled into a lot of different things, it was just me finding myself also as an artist, of who I was as an artist. But knowing that genre-wise, this was what it's my love, that specific genre.
So we know some of your influences and inspiration behind bachata specifically, but with those other genres that you've dabbled in, who are some other influential and inspirational artists that you looked up to growing up?
I definitely listened to Mariah Carey. She was definitely one of my top artists that I always listened to at home. Definitely listened to some Whitney. A lot of the other artists was influenced by my mom. Okay. My mom would play, while she's cleaning. Of course, she would play her Marco Antonio Solis and her Ana Gabriel, but she would also play Tina Turner, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. She would go here and there into those different, more ballad-like genres also. And I used to also listen to Destiny Child and, Beyonce. I kind of like all types of music.
Yeah, no, and
so
part of the reason why I asked that is because I believe that any artist and anything that they do, should not be kept in a box. They should stay multifaceted. They should check all different avenues. And one of the things that we're seeing now more than ever, I feel like in music just in general, is a lot of infusion. You know, you have a lot, like, you already have your hand dipped into all these other genres that you could certainly apply those into your music, even though bachata seems to be the main focal point.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I do with my music. I think that when you listen to my music off the back, you'll say, well, this is not the traditional bachata, what I was waiting for. You
Right.
know, do I keep all the elements of what the traditional bachata is? Absolutely. You're gonna hear the guira, you're gonna hear the tambora, like obviously requinto, like those are instruments that they're just like off limits. Like they're always gonna be there. We're not, I don't have anything that's like, where in the English market you can sit down and do everything, with an MPK and just kind of like do your beats online. This is live instruments that have to be played. So I still have all these elements, but you definitely get a taste of certain 808s, or you get taste of other sounds, like you said, that bring you into the urban world. Mixed with my bachata. So definitely when you listen to my bachata, you know that it's definitely different. It has its own mark.
Yeah.
It is very urban, more popular kind of music than your traditional.
So I have a little bit of a confession here, and you might hate my guts after I confess this, and also to the rest of the audience. And it sounds kind of contradictory having a person of your caliber on the show, but admittedly, I am not a fan of the genre. I don't listen to it very often. I don't. It's not on my playlist or anything like that. And and maybe this is just the ignorance in me, but it just sounds a lot of it is very repetitive. Like I feel like the same bachata song that I heard maybe 20 years ago is no different than what I already hear now. Same instruments, same kind of melodies, different that. And maybe that's just my plain ignorance, and also due to the fact that I'm not fluent in Spanish. So as a person who has immersed himself in this game and is a part of it and is proud to be a part of it, what is it about the average person that has a little bit of ignorance like myself that is not able to understand or appreciate about the genre itself?
This is very interesting. I feel that when it comes to bachata, let's separate it from the other genres. I feel that all the other genres have evolved. I feel that you can listen to reggaeton from back in the days and say the same thing.
It's stark. Like the difference
Evie
back then and now
Queen.
is different. Yeah.
An Evie Queen type of, time frame, and you would say the same thing. You would say all of this sounds exactly the same. The Don Omar, the Daddy Yankee, it almost everything was like, it's like an actual formula. But throughout the years, it has been able to evolve. Same
Okay.
thing with a lot of the other genres. I think that when you talk about tropical music, and now I'm specifically going to talk about bachata because it is my genre, I feel that we never got that opportunity to actually evolve. Whose fault it is, I don't know. What I can tell you is I feel the same way. When it comes to traditional music, I feel that it sounds the same. I feel that a lot of the newer talent a couple years ago the music still sounds the same as our other bachateros that were our inspiration. And there's no difference. I think that everyone has been pretty much afraid of changing, of evolving, I'm going to say,
Okay.
not changing. And I think it's because of the word change. I think that a lot of the older bachatas, people feel that when Aventura came, it's like, okay, you changed the game. The name of their album was We Broke the Rules.
Yeah.
I mean, what more explanation do you want from that? They literally said, we're breaking the rules. We are not going to sound the same way that these other bachateros have sounded in the past. And I think that after they did it, they are the biggest group in this genre.
Yeah.
Just historically,
They're the Beatles
are.
of bachata.
Absolutely. And I think that even after them, there's been a lot of other groups and a lot of other artists that have been trying to also evolve. And like you said, fuse in other genres into the genre so that they can identify themselves with this genre. And I think that it is the only genre that it's kind of like not accepted. It's like you're changing things. They don't see it as it's evolving. And I think also is the ignorance of the people as well, where us ourselves, the consumers, the people that are listening to it, have been taught and told, when you listen to this genre, you need to be sad and you need to be depressed. There has to be some emotional like roller coaster that you're going through when you're listening to this genre.
I think that's
And
another thing too. Like I don't, like I said, I'm sorry to apologize to interrupt, but even though I say I'm not very fluent in Spanish, I could know a little some, and it just seems like if I keep on listening to this, I'm just going to be sad as fuck all day.
yes, absolutely. It literally is slit your wrist music. They literally go slit your wrist when they listen to these lyrics of these, songs.
Hardcore.
So doing that, and listening to these lyrics and having that programmed into your head, it's kind of like when then you hear like a bachata that I do, and I'm talking about living my life, and I'm talking about I'm going on private jets, and you only live once. It's kind of like, girl, what you're talking about? Like, no, like, why are you not crying? And it's not accepted because of that, because we are ignorant and we're programmed to think, like you said, that it's sad as fuck. Like that's what we've been told. But I think that right now, moving forward, I think that we're at a place in this genre that we are changing people's perspectives to it. Because, for instance, yourself, you said, you don't enjoy it, you don't like it. Maybe if you listen to, some of the newer bachateros in the game, obviously myself, where we're not sad. We're not gonna make you, like upset and doing all this thing. You're more gonna be like, oh, I dig this. Okay, I can put this in my car and I can bump to this, not feel like, a girl left me or whatever the heck happened to me. That can change your perspective a lot, because it is going to be different. It's not gonna sound the same anymore.
Right.
You know
what that sounds like to me a little bit, and it's going to be a weird analogy. It kind of reminds me of like baseball. And what I mean by that is baseball is known as America's pastime when it comes to sports. And there's a lot of older heads especially that are not liking the changes that they're seeing with the game. They feel like the soul and the heart of it is being ripped out because of all these things that are being changed with the games, because there's a lot of them that refuse to change with the times in general. So I feel like for the traditionalists, for lack of a better term, when it comes to the genre of bachata, it's like, it's fine the way it is. Leave it alone. Why change it? Why? So it's almost kind of like you got to draw that fine line of appeasing to the main hardcore, the mainstream audience and of the audience of today, while satisfying and preserving and respecting the tradition and the culture of it from the beginning.
Absolutely. And that's why I mentioned before that I said, I think that the live instruments, and I think that keeping those elements and keeping that part of culturally what the bachata is and where it came from, and respecting what bachata is as a genre, keeping that and just combining that element with whatever fresh sound every artist is unique. I don't expect, it's kind of like myself. I say it all the time. I said, can I sing you a Medicina de Amor? Of course I can cover it for you. Is it going to be me? Am I going to sing it the same? Probably not.
You had your own spice to it, your own flavor, yeah.
I am me, and it will be weird for you, like listen to what you say, like, you're used to listening to all them songs sounding the same. It'll be super weird, me dressed the way that I am and the way that who Jae Camillo is, to come sing you a song from the 90s or early 2000s, sing you a song. It wouldn't make sense at all whatsoever.
But you know what? And I'm actually kind of glad you brought this up. I did happen to I've seen you perform twice now in person. The first time was with Just Words Nobody Cares season premiere. Shout out to Just Words Nobody Cares. Shout out to Ron Kane and all of them. And the second time was at the New York Latino Film Festival, the Block Party.
Okay.
And what I also remember specifically at the Block Party was you were singing, I don't remember the song, but it's a very famous song from the 80s, and you added your own bachata twist to it. And even as a guy who is not particularly fond of the genre itself, I thought, as the kids say, this shit slaps.
Okay. I appreciate that. It was Total Eclipse of the Heart. So it was a Bonnie Tyler song.
Yes. Okay. Yeah,
Total
I
Eclipse
remember
of the
that.
Heart.
I remember now.
So I did remake the song into a bachata, and it is Spanglish. So I kept
Yep.
a lot of the English parts into it, and I did the Spanish part into the song as well. It's definitely a song that everyone enjoys because it is recognizable. People know what song it
Right.
is. And like you said, I gave it my own twist, so it still is a little more modern
Yes.
than traditional, the song itself.
And also, if I may, it seems like a hell of a marketing tool because you're letting people know, hey, I'm doing this, but I also grew up on this.
Yes,
So
absolutely. And also that same, I remember, I also did a little medley that I also do to help people understand where I'm coming from also. Because like I said, you don't want to disrespect the genre. You don't want to seem like you're changing the genre. But at the same time, people cannot expect me to keep myself traditional to something that I actually don't know. To me, that would be the disrespect. The fact that my dad's taste of music is traditional, and that's amazing because that is what he grew up listening to.
right.
If you ask me what I grew up listening to, yes, I did listen to those bachata because he played them at home. But the reality of the fact is, I listened to Aventura, I listened to Romeo Santos, I
Yeah.
listened to Prince Royce. That's who I grew up listening to in this genre. At the end of the day, that's who I identify myself with. So I also do this medley where I jump in and I sing Ariana Grande song, I sing a Billie Eilish song, I sing a
Birds
Bow
of a
Bow
feather.
song, and I sing them all in bachata. And I do a nice little 7, 8 minute medley. And the purpose of me doing this medley is exactly that. It's the fact to give you that opportunity to actually understand, oh, wait, so bachata can be a mainstream genre. This
Yes.
can be a genre that I can listen to constantly on the radio, that I can see it at an award show, that I can see an artist actually going internationally singing this genre. Because if not, what I'm doing is if I don't make you understand, if I don't show you exactly what my vision is, then you're never going to understand. You're going to
Right.
continue to think, here goes another artist trying to change something, that doesn't even work anyways. Because at the end of the day, I can't name to you one female artist that has been able to break into the industry. So off the back, I'm already coming in a situation that there's nothing for you to compare me to at all whatsoever. You're going to make your mind up, or you're going to see whether you like it or not because of what I'm doing. You know?
So I hate to I hate to get controversial here, but it's I feel like I have to anyway. So when it comes to music in general, like let's say with pop, in some cases, rock, all these other genres, a lot of them seem to stand the test of time because it was always about collaborating and nobody was really at odds with each other and they just did it for the pure love of it. Like you have Bruce Springsteen in his 70s that's still selling out arenas and he's always going to have a horde of fans that are going to support him till the day he's no longer with us. But then you take a genre like hip hop, and all of the older heads, they're kind of like has been, washed up, forgotten, because it just seems like the competitive nature is just way too intense. And not being familiar in the bachata genre, would you feel like it's like every other genre where it's collaborative and supportive and everlasting and evergreen, or do you find that in your experience has it been as competitive as hip hop can be?
I think competitive. I think that is one of the issues with the genre. The competition is like, I honestly, I sit here myself when I do my homework because I feel like I'm always doing homework into the genre. I feel that I always want to know, like when I go to podcasts and I get interviewed and anyone asks me questions, I want to make sure that I'm telling you, especially if you don't know, that I'm giving you that knowledge of what it is. So the only way I'm going to do that is by me looking for that knowledge and finding it. And I think that I've asked myself a lot too, with even the older bachateros and the newer bachateros, the collaborations. Like there's not a lot of collaborations when it comes to them. I've seen through the years some of them collab with some of the bigger artists, like with a Romeo Santos or with a Prince Royce. But collaborations as to with other artists that are on the grind, that have been working, never, you know. And even collaborations within artists that are emerging as well.
It's still competitive.
It's still competitive. It's still, everyone's reaching for this one spot, and they only think there's only one spot, and that's it.
Yeah.
When it's not like that, you know. And that's why a lot of times, like I said before, you don't really know a lot about the genre, but there was a moment a couple of years ago where they said the genre died, or this genre is dead. It's gone. That's it. There's no saving it. And I always would hear this, and I was so against it. I'm like, yeah, because you guys are doing that. That's the mentality that you guys are using, you know. It's dead because you guys are not helping, you know. And what I mean by helping, I don't see it as in anybody should be like, oh, you know, if they have 1 million followers, that they should say, oh, this person's gonna. That's not helping, because you don't even know if that artist is actually gonna give it 1,000% at the end of the day. So I understand from that perspective as well, of helping people, but helping in the sense of like not gatekeeping a lot of things, you know, especially in the genre.
Yeah.
I feel that every other genre helps each other, like you said before.
Absolutely, yeah.
They help each other. There's a song I would never forget. I think it's Te Bote, the name of the song.
Yeah, yeah.
There's 1,000 people on that record.
Yeah,
I
Nicki
remember
Jam, Bad Bunny, Ozuna, everybody, yeah.
I remember when I first heard that record, I was like, they just keep coming out. It's just more artists and more artists.
It's like, like a 7-minute song or some shit? Yeah.
It's insane, you know? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I have never seen that in one of the tropical, like, genres. And there's room for it.
There's no posse cuts.
No.
Yeah.
At all whatsoever. That if at an award they're doing some sort of like homage, or they're doing something for someone, yeah, they'll go ahead and they'll do a little tribute, and you'll see 5 artists come out with the same salsa or with the same merengue. But that's it. It does not get past that whatsoever. It's like that's a stage collaboration. But as far as like a record, like a lot of the reggaeton people do it, like J Balvin. You have all these artists that they have so many like artists they collab with, and they make all these things. Even females, you have the Nati Natashas, the Becky G, the Carol G. They all get together. There's 2 girls, 3 girls. There've been Pau Pau did something with Embrismo. There was 5 females. It was a collaboration. So there is, but it's always on the genres where it's more of a reggaeton genre, is more of that type. Tropical hasn't. You know, there's no hand in hand going on with that.
So to piggyback off what you had just said, because I think you kind of led it to my next question anyway. You're right. As far as the genre is concerned, it seems like it's predominantly male all the time. You know, like I don't know a single off the top of a famous female bachata singer. I mean, maybe La India or something. I don't even know if she is bachata or anything like that. Okay, so she's not. So it just goes to show that it is it continues to be a male-dominated genre and a male-dominated industry. With you having as much longevity and skin in the game as you have, how have you been able to navigate the waters and not let it get you down?
The way I see it is there's always a first for everything, you know. And I feel like just because there hasn't been doesn't mean that there's not going to be. And I think that now I have shifted a lot of my energy into making sure that the next generation has someone. And that's where I've been focusing myself. So one of the projects that I've been working on, it has been a year-long project that I have been working on that includes female bachateras. It is 10 females from different parts of the world, all uniting for this one genre. The goal behind a lot of this is exactly that. We're talking about 10 females, 10, different parts, of different states, different countries, singing bachata, coming together on a project to make sure that we mark the bachata world, as in it's not a male dominant genre. Okay. The fact that everyone knows more males is because the females have yet had the opportunity to showcase themselves. And that's why this project is extremely important. It will be out next year, first quarter. And like I said, it's a project solely bachatas by women. This is an all-female project that is going to come out next year.
Nice. Now, I'm looking at your Spotify right here, where people can follow her, Jae Camillo's, Jaecamilo. Correct? All right. I just want to make sure I got that. So I'm looking at you know how Spotify does it with the popular list of each artist's profile. So I want to focus on the top 3 right now.
Okay.
So as of right now, number 3 is Aura.
Okay.
Explain to my audience a little bit about what that song is about if they're not familiar.
Aura is a collaboration with a Spaniard artist, Mario Barro. Shout out to Mario. That we came across. Was produced by Mario and by Mayimbito. This song actually we shot and did everything in Spain. Actually traveled out to Spain to get this song done. This song is a really nice song. I think that the song has definitely been a mark because it caters a lot to our dance community. Our dance community is a huge, huge part of right now the bachata movement. I think that they have done an excellent job in helping the artists just, evolve in the communities. So they have their communities of their dancing and their competitions, which is truly amazing. What they do, how they have evolved themselves. Because same way, bachata was danced a specific way back in the day, and it has also changed and evolved.
Yeah.
And I think that the music also that they have been choosing also shows that. And Aura is one of those songs that is deeply loved by our dance community, and I love them for that because they definitely have shown Aura to the world on that.
Okay. Number 2, you have No soy tu juguete. In English means I am not your toy.
Yes.
That sounds a little self-explanatory, but maybe you could give us a little bit more in depth on behind that song and the inspiration behind it.
No soy tu juguete. So, no soy tu juguete is basically speaking in the sense of the other girl, but not knowing that she was the other girl. And basically letting the guy know, like, dude, I'm not a toy. Like, this is not a game. Like, just pick one or don't pick none or just tell me, be real with me, because I think it's not about her being okay with being, like they say, like a side chick or anything like that, but it's about her understanding this happened. It is what it is. I became the side chick, but I don't want to be the side chick. I want that respect. I want to have, what I deserve. So, and no soy tu juguete is kind of pick already or I'm out the door. So that's what that song is about.
Does this come from personal experience?
When I write, I try to always incorporate a lot of my personal experiences. This song in particular is about someone else's experience. So I often have conversations. I love speaking to people, and sometimes I get some stories and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go right now in my car or I'm gonna go somewhere and go write this song really quick. So a lot of the inspiration, if it's not coming from me, it's definitely coming from someone's story around me.
And according to Spotify, your number 1 most popular song is No Soy Sana.
Yes. Just another collaboration. That is a collaboration with my dear producer, Majimbito. Shout outs to him. It's also a very loved song by the community. I believe the top bachata dance competition in the world was just a female. She just won the competition, and the song of choice is actually No Soy Sana, which thank you so much. She's such a beautiful person, this girl, and I'm so happy that she chose this song. This song is very different. This song, when you listen to it, it has a lot of that rockish kind of dark deep kind of vibe to it. And I think that's what captures people's attention from this song. And the song, obviously, like the title says, "No soy sana." I think that not every, and we're not saints. I think that everyone does their things, and you know what? If that's what makes you happy, then that's what you need to do, and that's what the song is about. The song is about basically like, let me just be. I'm going to a party and I want to dance the night away. Let me be. Don't tell me don't dance because you're dancing too much. Like, if you don't dance, that's great, but let me dance. And that's what the
Right.
song is more about. That's where it's inclined more to.
And then you also have the new single that's out, Que Lo Que. I mean, that's just written Dominican anthem written all over it right now. I see it on bumper stickers. I see it in windows. I hear it all through social media. I mean,
So, Que Lo Que, of course, Que Lo Que is very Dominican. Que Lo Que song is also another party track. It's also a bachata, of course, but with that urban. The song is about creating memories, actually. The song is about knowing where I stand, keeping the record straight, letting people know that, what I got is because I worked for it. What I get is because I'm working for it. Nothing is given to me. And that's an all around thing. Just on my personal life, as an artist, as a creative, everything. It's just, I work really, really hard, and that's what this song is about. And the song is about memories, creating those memories. And Que Lo Que is like, it's a saying that Dominican people say, like, Que Lo Que. It's used in a lot of different ways. I think that the way that we used it was kind of like a checkmate kind of way, like Que Lo Que, like, like show me what you're working with, you know what I mean? Like, are you being independent? Are you doing what you have to do to get what you want? Or you're just making excuses and not getting anything?
it's almost like Ice Cube and Boys in the Hood saying, "Domino, motherfucker."
Yes. Basically, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at your Spotify profile here, I mean, you have tons of songs. You have a very well-rounded discography. However, out of all of the things that you've put out there, to the audience that wants to check out your music, which one would you say is your most personal song? Like the one that you feel like you would like to be remembered for long after you're no longer here?
Wow. Okay. I mean, I love all my songs. I'm gonna be honest with you. I
They're
get
like
in
your
my
kids,
car
I get it, but
and I listen to every single song. That is my playlist. But if there was one song that I can choose from all these songs that I can listen to any time of day, that's how I'm gonna put it. I'm gonna have to go with La Cartera.
and why so?
La Cartera, I feel that, it's personal to me because I feel through this whole me finding myself as an artist and me looking for my sound and me just in general understanding that bachata is what I want to do and that I can make it my own and different. This was the song that I mostly identified with. La Cartera is kind of like my bag, me and my bag. What I mean by that is basically like I, once again, have worked for everything that I have. I didn't just wake up yesterday and say, I'm going to become a singer. Like, I literally have worked my ass off, and I'll work 100 more years if I have to, because I understand that putting the work in is what's going to get me what I want. And in this song specifically, I feel like a lot of people throw shade a lot of the times, like you said, is a male dominant world. And I feel that sometimes I can feel very invited, but I know that I'm also very like throwing shade at, being thrown shade at because like that word we used earlier where I said change when it's supposed to be evolving. And this song was kind of very like blunt. It was like, I'm going to do me no matter what. And you could keep throwing your shade and I don't give a shit because I'm going to continue to do what makes me happy and the music that makes me happy. And I think this song really shifted a lot of my mentality to sticking to what I'm doing and not changing because someone says, well, you shouldn't say culo or you shouldn't say this because, Dominican household or Spanish household does not want to hear you curse. Grow up. If you don't want your kids to hear it, then don't play it. If they're gonna hear it anyways. Sorry, explain to them. Maybe it's not something you should say because it means this.
It's not your responsibility as an artist.
It's not my responsibility as an artist, and I'm going to make music and continue to make music that makes me happy and identifies with me. And that song definitely was a song that pivoted me to really, really solidify. I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm no longer going to do something or sing a song to please someone else. You can sing. Why don't you just sing? And I don't want to. This is what I like to do. And that song is that.
Boom.
Yes, queen, yes, queen, yes, queen.
I don't know what that was, but great. Yeah, round of applause for that. So you had mentioned earlier before, besides, being an artist in music, you've dabbled into other things as well. You've done some, some acting, you've done dance, you've done so on and so forth. And it goes back to what I was saying before, how an artist shouldn't be just stuck in a specific box, so to speak. You being able to navigate different waters in the entertainment industry, what do you also find appealing that also really keeps your music fresh and inspired?
I think that speaking to people in general, for instance, I'd ask you, right? You said that bachata is not something that's in your playlist.
Correct.
My question to you would be, what would you like to hear in bachata? Like, what would change your perspective in bachata? Would it be musically what you're listening to? If you had it infused with something else, would it be lyrically what someone is talking about? Would it be more of something more fresh, rapping, something more sung out, Whitney? What would be something that would catch your attention more? Would it be that you just want something Spanglish because you do understand Spanish, but you would like to understand more? What would be something that you would like in bachata?
Well, it's kind of happened already a couple of years ago when Romeo did that song with Drake a couple of years ago, because it was very bachata influenced, but you could tell when Drake's part came up that there was a little bit of Spanglish there and there was a little bit of a switch up in the beat and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Now, I believe me, I'm a hopeless romantic. I love being in love. I want to be in a relationship, all that good stuff. And so I would totally relate to the lyrics. And, Lord knows I've been through my depression and sadness through relationships and stuff like that, so I could relate to the lyrics. I guess my biggest gripe with bachata is that it's just like the music itself and the sound itself is just repetitive. Like, it's the same instruments, the same melodies all over and over. And I'm like, the only thing that's really different is just the artist and the lyrics, but everything else music-wise is just repetitive. And I think that's one of the things that hasn't really appeal to me, for lack of a better term, as far as I'm concerned. Because any other genre, yeah, you have a little bits of this and there, but it's more of a, like, I guess a little bit more experimentation.
Yes.
So I just think that to me, it's like, it kind of lacks creatively music-wise. I think that's my biggest gripe with it.
Okay. So, for instance, I like I said, you just answer the question. So one of my things is I would share with you songs that I feel that would cater to what you just answered, which was musically. I think me personal on my projects and my songs that are on Spotify, if you listen to my songs from top to bottom, you cannot tell me that something sounds the same. It would be impossible for you to tell me that. And it's not only with other previous bachatas, but it's with myself. The only thing you're going to get from me is me, myself, because I'm Jae Camillo.
Yeah.
But as far as whether it's melodically, whether it's the cadence, whether it's the lyrics, I am going to basically touch everything. I go from no quiero saber de ti, a breakup. I don't want shit to do with you. Don't call me. Don't look for me. Dude, move to a different country. To, no soy tu juguete, to knowing that I'm another girl. a side chick kind of song. Going to La Cartera, independent. Que lo que, independent. Partying, live life. You only got one life to live. To going to covers like Total Eclipse of the Heart, going to covers like El Me Mintió, which are vocally powerhouse songs from back in the days as well. So, No Soy Sana. You know, I could keep going. These songs all sound different. My next single that's coming out is very different. So not only lyrically they're different, but musically they are as well. I can tell you the difference, like I said before, from the No Soy Sana song, where it has an influence of, you hear the electric guitar in that song. You can hear how dark that song sounds, to my new single that just was released last Friday, Que Lo Que, that is extremely caribeña. You can hear the song basically like where you can hear the elements of a more Afrobeat kind of instruments to a more like you get off a boat in an island. That type of vibe is what this song brings to you. So you have basically really dark to a really bright song. So I do that a lot, and that's because of what you said. I want to keep everyone engaged. I want to give everyone something to listen to.
And, you know, I think one of the reasons why I actually do enjoy your music, even though it is bachata, is because I think I enjoy your vocals. Like, because the way that you sound melodically is appealing to me, and that's why I will listen to it. Where another thing that we could, you know, go back to is what's not very appealing to me is that it seems like a lot of the newer artists, male specifically, are trying to follow the the Romeo Santos blueprint, where they have like this really soft, raspy voice, and it's very high pitched and not very masculine. And it works for him, good for him, but everybody else trying to follow the blueprint, it's like, it's unoriginal. That's why at the time, believe it or not, I don't even know if he still does music anymore because I'm not into the genre like that, but I remember Toby Love was a little bit differently. He sounded not like Romeo or anything like that, and I actually enjoyed it.
Yes, shout out to Toby.
Same thing with Extreme, you know? So,
absolutely, it's different. The texture of the voices and everything. It's not the same formula, like you're saying. It's definitely different because their identities are different, and they're showing that through their music. And you're right. I feel the same way. I feel there's a lot of newer artists that are trying to follow the Romeo Santos, and there's only one Romeo Santos. He is Romeo Santos. There's no way that you're going to pick Michael Jackson and emulate Michael Jackson.
Right, yeah.
There's just one Michael Jackson, alive or dead or whatever it is. There's only one, and that's the bottom line. But can you get a Chris Brown? Can you know what I mean? So it's the same thing. At the end of the day, it's similar. It's kind of an evolving kind of thing, but they're probably the most similar, you know, guys that you can say, oh, okay, you know, I can see it. Same thing in the industry. I'm not saying for someone not to sound like Romeo, because that's how you naturally sound, and you can't change for it.
Yeah, if it's something that's unavoidable, yeah.
You know, but like you said, even if there could be similar voices in similar ways and still have an identity.
Yeah. Like, you see how deep my voice is? I cannot emulate that kind of voice that he does. And I know what I want to. I would want to do my own spin of it.
Yes.
So now, you know what? There is a little bit of hope for me as far as the genre is concerned, because ironically, even though I'm not specifically a fan of the genre, believe it or not, I actually can dance the shit out of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so whenever I go to like a party, or like this past weekend, my best friend just got married. Shout out to Dre and Karen. I love you guys. Congratulations. I was the best man and I had a great time. And, you know, they did play bachata music, new and old, and I got up in there and cut up a rug. You know, I was very confident in my skills, even though I have no idea what the fuck they're saying.
Lovely. Listen, that's what's important.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, is feeling the music. That's what's important.
I guess, yeah, okay.
At the end, I think that music, just in general, music, it's the language. It's not the lyrics. At the end of the day, it's what you feel when you listen to it. So even if you don't, I've heard a lot of songs. I hear a lot of songs actually that are Afro beats, which I really enjoy listening to. And I've heard a lot of music that's in Portuguese actually, because one of the artists that I like also, he sings music Santané that's very close to what bachata genre is, and I enjoy it. I have no idea what they are saying, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the beat from the Afro beats, and I enjoy that vibe from the, you know, Portugal kind of music that I listen to. So it's the language that matters at the end of what you feel.
And if anybody has a problem with that, for example, the Super Bowl, grow up and wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't need to get into all that mess, but
you're right. On
yeah.
track.
Yeah. Final question before we get into our final segment. To anybody out there that is inspired to do something and they're very passionate about something that they want to do with their life, but they're feeling resentment, discouragement, fear, insecurity, whatever the case may be, what would you say to those people that are listening and watching right now?
I would say to take a step back. I would say take a step back. I would say ground yourself. Then look at yourself in the mirror. And then make sure that you believe in yourself and that you have the faith. Because then everything else comes along. I think that me saying, don't give up on your dreams, keep going, it's so cliche. People don't see what happens behind closed doors. And if it was easy, then we'll all win.
Right.
At the end of the day. So it's about yourself. It's about understanding yourself and understanding that you have that faith, you believe in yourself, and it's really the passion, you are passionate about it. Because if you don't have that, and it's something that you love to do, it's not going to be enough. You're always going to get discouraged, and you're always, the devil's always looking for ways, and he will bring you down. So it's about you getting grounded, taking a step back, to then looking at yourself and really believing in yourself and having faith, and then everything just falls into place. No one will have to tell you that dreams come true, and if you keep on going and keep on trying and don't give up. I give up all the time. I give up all the time. All the time I wake up and I'm like, shit, this is so hard, and I give up. But you better believe that when I go into wherever there's a mirror, find one, I ungive up. That's what I say. I say, I don't know if it's a word, but I ungive up. I literally look at myself and I'm like, seriously? And I get to work. And I get my shit together. But that only comes if you have faith and believe in yourself and you ground yourself. You understand that. Forget about what everyone else is doing, where they are, how far they've made it, how far ahead of you they are. Forget about all that. Yourself. Put yourself first, second, and third. And then everything just kind of falls into place.
Boom. There you go. Round of applause for Jae Camillo, please. All right, so we're about to get to the end of this episode, but before we do, I just have one final segment. It's now time for everybody's favorite segment. It's now time for this or that. If you've never seen the show before, what happens is I will ask my guests multiple choice questions here. There's no right or wrong answers, just what you like best, and for the audience to get to know a little bit more about you. All right,
Okay.
So are we ready?
Yes.
Jay?
Let's go.
Are we ready, Marv?
And now, our feature presentation.
Okay, he seems ready. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go for this or that. You, Miss Camillo. Playlist or podcast?
Both, but lately, podcast.
Okay. Slides or Crocs?
Slides.
I see the grimace in your face. Beach or pool?
Beach.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Unfortunately, both. I don't sleep.
Which one do you find yourself more lately?
Lately, early bird.
Okay. All right. Instagram or TikTok?
To watch or post?
Which one is more instrumental to your...
I'm gonna go ahead and say TikTok.
Okay. All right. To give or to receive?
To give.
Okay. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Introvert?
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Okay. Iron Man or Captain America?
Captain America.
Deadpool or Wolverine?
Wolverine.
Okay. Are you glass half empty or glass half full?
I am glass half full.
Okay. Would you rather be embarrassed or be afraid?
Be embarrassed.
Would you rather be too hot or be too cold?
I would be too cold.
Okay. Would you rather
I'm
do
already cold all the time.
Would you rather do dishes or laundry?
Laundry.
Do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat?
Window. All the way.
Are you more book smart or more street smart?
I'm going to say both.
If you had to choose one.
Choose one. I'm going to probably say street smart.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do you prefer reading or writing?
Writing.
Would you rather speak every language or play every instrument?
Play every instrument.
Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Dancing or karaoke?
Dancing.
Drama or comedy?
Comedy.
Movie theater or streaming service?
Movie theaters.
Ice water or room temperature?
Ice water.
And then finally, teamwork or solo project?
Teamwork.
All right, teamwork makes the dream work. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this or that. And that is going to do it for this episode of First Class, Second Place. Thank you to my great guest, Jae Camillo, for coming through here.
Thank you so
Is there
much.
anybody you want to give a shout out to really quick before we close out?
Everybody watching, hopefully everyone got my message and saw us live here. I want to say thank you, though.
Thank you.
This is really, really cool. I appreciate you sharing your creative platform for me to speak to your viewers and to have my viewers join us.
No problem. And it was my pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can find Jae Camillo on social media at Jae Camillo, JaeCamillo, on all social media platforms. You could also follow her on Spotify. All of her music is there, and also on YouTube, I'm assuming, as well.
Yes.
All right. So, all of Jae Camillo, where you can find her, just Google her. It's the easiest way to
Yes.
find her. All right. Well, Jae, thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate
you.
this. Again, crossing the bridge for little old me and this little old podcast. But I really, really appreciate this. Thank you so much. And good luck on all your endeavors and in your projects.
Thank you. Thank you
right.
so much.
And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me at I am Jason Enrique on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Jason Enrique. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week. This has been the First Class, Second Place podcast. We out.
Aw, thank you so much.